Hello! Pull up a chair and join us in the alcove. Here with episode 70
It snuck out!
of our homebrewed 5th edition D&D campaign, the Chaoslands.
Better up than down.
Yeah.
As always, before we start, we have a handful of quick announcements, so let's go through those. We upload recorded VODs of our game to YouTube.
What?
And if you're watching this, that's likely where you are.
Whoa.
If you aren't, you can find us on youtube.com/@thealcove. That's youtube.com/@THEALCOVE.
If you're not, please tell us where you're watching this stream.
If you like this video, please click the like button down
We're
below.
liking it.
And if you want to see more videos like this, click the subscribe button, and you'll be notified when our next video goes live.
Mm-hmm.
If you want, you can also go and follow us on all of our social media accounts. Or don't, because social media is a hellhole. But if you want to, our Twitter,
They are
Instagram,
there.
and TikTok are all there. They exist, and they may or may not have content on them.
Wait, where's Blue Sky?
Yeah, we kind of.
We will probably have a blue sky soon.
Yeah, we need a blue sky.
We use a variety of background music to improve the ambiance of our game and stream. And you may recognize some of it from Critical Role's Welcome to Taldoric,
Elon
Welcome to
Musk
Wildmount, and Candela Obscura collection albums. As well as some royalty-free music courtesy of Riot Games.
Butterfly.
Links to those can be found below. That's all the announcements, so let's begin our dive into the Chaoslands.
Dive into, get it? Because we're all diving.
I tried it.
Before we get the session underway, let's roll
We
for
all
some
leveled
HP
up.
because you all leveled up for arriving at the rec state of Silthia, starting with the big one.
Ooh, a big 7.
Nice.
I forget what I roll.
7.
Which class are you taking a level in?
I will be taking 1 in Barbarian. Artificer.
Okay. Which class are you taking a level in?
Fighter.
Oh shoot, I
What
haven't
do I
decided that
roll?
yet.
I think fighter is D10,
D12.
but I will double check on that.
I think Barb's the only
12, right?
I have now rolled 6.
I'm not-
Barb's the only
I think it's
I think so.
Barbarian's the only D12.
1D.
I don't
The
know.
D12 is basically
D10
a barbarian die.
D10.
They use as part of
Yeah.
it. It is a D10. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. And I rolled a 4.
I have 82 max life now.
I haven't decided which one I'm taking it in yet, but it's a D8 regardless.
We can't start until you pick.
No.
That's pretty good.
6.
Oh.
Nice.
We re-roll once.
Which class?
Warlock.
Okay. Just making sure.
D8. 6.
Not
So
bad.
many
Pretty
sixes.
good.
Not bad.
6, 6, 6.
Wow.
Leveling
Devil's
cleric.
Okay.
That's a 1.
You're
Ah.
real.
Reroll that.
That's a 2.
Don't reroll that. So.
High five.
High 5.
For certain that was my last roll, maybe 2 rolls.
Alright, well, let's begin our session.
Oh boy.
The Iron Will. Emerging from the dark and cold surroundings of the Frostfang Woods into the untamed grasslands of the Cradle Fields, had made contact with a nomadic tribe known as Clan Nox, who, upon discovering Timon's ability to channel the red lightning of Agonaz, requested that you visit their encampment and meet with an elder of their tribe, Kutman, who shares a similar connection.
Cutie man.
Upon arriving on the camp on the edge of the Aetherglass Desert, you discovered that Kutman himself had been incapacitated for some time, and instead met with their second in command, a centaur named Kassa,
Oh, I forgot he was.
who was extremely worried and on edge. At his request, and after a brief sending spell facilitated conversation with the old Loxodon, Kutman, you were tasked with traveling into the Red Lightning Rift that had formed near the encampment, to read the runes, learn what fate demanded of the
Come,
clan,
sister.
and to return to the tribe, where Kutman may join you in the coming days. After a brief journey in the dead of night, towards the ominous storm, you arrived and immediately began a slow and treacherous journey into the rift itself, following strange flashes of lightning bolts, forming runes and words in the sky, until you eventually came across a humanoid figure traveling in the distance. Catching up to this figure, you saw them place a strange floating glass orb in the midst of the storm, and then quickly dart off in a different direction. Examining the orb granted Kalthir and the Big One a vision of a glass canyon in the glittering sands of the desert, and a strange arcane ritual bringing a flying fortress falling down upon its surface.
Oh boy.
Still processing this vision, but not wanting to lose sight of the figure, you gave chase and followed your quarry through a shimmer in this rift. A portal, similar to ones that you've seen in the past. Through a cave into a crimson wasteland of perpetual chaos. It was here that you found yourself face to face with another dragon, This one with bright red scales, breathing gouts of fire. As the situation became dire, you called out for help from the figure who was sneaking away from you, and who turned and aided you.
Hello.
And revealed himself to be Theodore Constantine,
Son of a bitch.
and helped you survive the deadly encounter. However, it seemed clear from his demeanor as you defeated the dragon that that would be the least of your concerns, and you came face to face with an ancient evil. Kazmarath, the Eye of the Storm, an ancient monstrosity of unimaginable evil. Thanks to a noble sacrifice from Teddy, you were able to narrowly escape from the Beholder through a portal that seems to have deposited you into the night sky high above a desert canyon covered by glittering glass. A familiar sight to some of you. However, your mental capacity may be at the moment, with the big one slightly panicking upon the recollection of his new memories, old memories, both flooding into his mind at the same time.
Shit.
As you emerge from this rift high up above the ground,
I'm so high.
several thousand feet. An ever-present red glow behind you, small beads of pale green and yellow light visible in the distance down below, and the rushing winds past your face as you find yourself in a free fall. Kelther, you're the first to appear through here. What do you do?
I think I take a second to realize what's happening, because it would go from a storm whipping around me to all of a sudden just free fall. So I'd take a second to try to stabilize myself, looking back up towards where I came from to see if I can see anything above me, and then I will put Steps of Night on myself and stabilize, holding in the air.
Did your jets come out of your hand like Iron Man?
As you are falling here in the dead of night, you have no idea what time it is, but it is dark. As you look up above you, all you can see is a dark black cloud with red lightning just streaking across from it. It's strange. While you've been in red lightning storms and lightning rifts before, this doesn't seem to be to the same intensity as what you're used to. Even though there is clearly red lightning energy here, it's not an active storm. Make a perception check for me.
18?
Above you, as you're looking up almost directly from where you fell, you can see a small shimmer from where you've fallen. You know where to look. You've kind of seen something similar before. You can make out where it is and orient yourself relative to it. Looking past it, in the clouds, as a bolt of lightning darts across, you swear you see a shadow within the clouds. A large, based on what you've seen in the past vision, almost a landmass of sorts above the clouds.
Okay.
You don't see the actual landmass, but you can see as the lightning arcs across it, just a faint shadow in the clouds that looks different from the rest of your surroundings. And especially because it's you who have seen the past vision, you know kind of what to look for. You do see something like that. As you're looking up at the rift, the big one emerges from it. You are now floating.
Yep.
The big one is still falling. And he's falling right at you. What do you do?
I am going to...
I got my fist cocked.
I don't have any spell that because I don't... One second. I don't think I can do... Yeah.
I have so many ways of living through this, but I don't know if any of them will matter.
Cast it and then
Yeah.
switch.
Yeah.
Cast and switch.
But he still has the momentum.
Bait
You have to
switch.
like
Nope.
time
It
that.
floats. Oh, yes. You still have to time it, but yeah.
Okay. I'm going to... Seeing him... Okay, actually,
can-
wait. You'll... Sorry.
You can see that he is visibly panicking.
That, I
and
was going to ask if I
drenched in
knew...
sweat.
I wanted to know if he was in a panic from when we were running through. Like, if I already knew that he was in a panic. Okay. This is...
I think you'd gone through before he started having his panic attack, but I think you can tell that he is still having one.
So... I'm going to try to... As soon as he's getting close to me, I'm going to get ready to reach out, knowing that he's much bigger than me, and I wouldn't be able to hold him anyways, but I might be able to, like, slow his fall down a little bit. I am going to try to reach for him, but as I'm reaching, once he gets, like, somewhat close to me, I know it's quick, I am going to cast Bless on both of us.
Oh.
Bless me, Daddy.
Yeah.
Well, Bless is like a range thing, so you can...
It's 30 feet. Yeah.
You can easily gauge when he's within 30 feet
Yep.
and cast Bless.
Yeah, that's what I meant, like, as
Yeah.
he's getting closer. So we have a D4 on saving throws.
For when he hit the ground.
And then I am going to try to, like, reach out as he's falling to try to just, like, catch his arm to it, maybe just help anything.
Make a strength saving throw.
Oh, you got this.
You do have a plus D4 from Bless.
I'm so good at it. Now, is this a charm effect?
Strongest person
Nailed
I
it.
know.
Fuck yeah, 7.
You reach out and you're more focused on casting the spell, and as you cast it, you aren't able to, like, brace yourself enough. You reach out and he just slips out from your grasp.
I think
he's
it's
still
just
falling
like, I
further
wasn't
past
prepared
you.
for how heavy this is. I was just like, oh shit.
Or maybe
Broke
he's just
your
like
arm.
in the middle of like a cannonball and
Tumbling?
you just can't
Yeah.
find like
Yes.
his arm to like grab. Make a wisdom saving throw for me to see if you're able to
Is
recollect
this charmed
yourself.
or frightened?
Technically frightened.
Can I have advantage on it since I am Loxodon Wisdomus? Technically, it says I have a advantage on
Doesn't
being
matter
charmed or
because
frightened.
I can see that he's going to try to break out of this, and I'm going to give him advantage with my idol.
Ooh.
The dildo?
The vibrator?
When a creature you can see within 30 feet of you makes a saving throw, I can use my reaction to give that creature advantage.
So
on
that's
to the-
triple advantage.
So I'll take 3d20s.
Yeah.
No, it's just advantage.
So I'm just, yeah. Snap out of it, big
But
one!
also, you do automatically have advantage on saving throws against being charmed or frightened, so you don't even have to use that.
Perfect.
I
Alright,
yelled
you
that
can
anyways.
save that.
Here we go. Hiya! Okay, not bad. Wisdom, you said? Saving throw, yeah? It's a
Yep.
16.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. You're falling, and you have this visceral memory in your head of you having this alchemical experiment, it failing, this vial exploding, you being tossed from the tower, you falling. The next thing you remember is waking up in a hospital bed. However, you also know in your mind that that's not true. That didn't happen. Your memory, you focus and you remember that that experiment was successful. It was perfectly fine. There was no explosion. The experiment was successful. It wasn't enough to prove to your father that you were good at alchemy. It has never been enough to prove to your father that you were good at alchemy. But why do you remember both of these things? You remember every detail of that experiment. But you have these two memories, and just the logical part of your mind of like, no, that's not what happened, is enough to still your focus, and you're falling, but you're able to remember that something doesn't add up.
Remember who you are.
Exactly. As the big one falls past you, you see Astra emerging and falling. What does your fall look like?
Just limbs everywhere, hair everywhere, glasses hopefully still
Everywhere.
attached, maybe broken.
What are you doing?
Oh shit, oh shit, oh shit.
I'm going to try to, like, slowly pick up speed so that, like, as she goes, I try to, like, almost match her speed a little bit and try to catch her as well.
Make a strength saving throw. And then you can act, and then she can act.
16.
Okay. You reach out your arm, and you, with Astra, the way that she's falling, you're able to grab her, and you have enough of a mental focus to also just be like reaching out and like grabbing Calthir's arm,
Pull
and
down
now,
your pants.
now you're holding on to her, and it's definitely you're holding on to her weight with like both hands
Yeah.
now, trying to make sure that you're stable and able to safely continue.
but I am trying to slow the fall.
Don't
Yeah,
worry, there's
like-
not a giant coming on.
Yeah.
Big one. You're in the middle of this skydive, still plummeting towards the ground. You're much closer to the ground than these two because Calthir's
Is
still
it the
floating.
ground, or is it this set glass
It's
thing?
glass and desert sands that you
Okay.
see below you. You're not quite sure where exactly you're gonna hit.
Okay. So part of my mind wants to just cannonball through it.
Super thick glass.
You
But
have
I'm
no
ass-
idea how thick this glass is.
So I'm assuming I'm out of 60 feet from my companions at the moment, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, well then I will snap out of it and be like, oh, this is not good. I'll look up, see them, and I'm like, oh. And then you'll just see like a shimmer of the green mist come out of my gauntlet, and I'll just go like this and feather fall myself.
Okay.
Yeah.
You-
And then I'll do...
I'm
Whoa.
Mary Poppins, y'all. I'm Mary Poppins.
So you're now slowly falling further down.
Yeah.
Timon emerges from above both of you, who are slowing
Oh, I thought
slowing
you were
down
last.
as well.
He's last.
Or
Am I last?
Yeah.
Oh.
I actually
Oh.
wrote it down here.
Oh, okay.
Figured that out. It's basically at a certain point it was just initiative order.
Oh,
I think Timon was right before you. It would be a roundless thing.
I guess I took a detour. Like,
Well, you were thrown out.
Yeah.
And you had to run all the way back.
Oh yeah, you go last in initiative. That's why.
Whoa! Timon, you emerge from this rift in the middle of the sky.
You're not
You see,
I am giant.
You are a
I
giant?
am giant.
you're looking down below you. You can make out figures, your friends, your companions, some of them are floating in midair, some of them are flying. And you see below you this giant, like, glass. It's almost like a crack in the ground, but it's massive. It's probably a mile or so across. You just see glass. Through it you can see small lights. You can see bridges connecting the two edges of the two walls. And further below that, you can barely make out. There's just like green, lush grass, trees, fountains. You are falling down, but your eyes just seem to, like, it's beautiful. But you are panicking out as you are probably about to crash land into the roof of the city.
I am about to splat like a fly into a windshield.
I'm definitely like holding Astra because you're not flying. I'm
No.
flying holding you as you're dangling
just-
there,
yeah.
and I'm looking up like, oh god, oh god. Seeing you, I'm like, oh, and I make sure I drift slightly out of the way of this gigantic person, like, because there's no way I can catch him. If anything, you're gonna knock me out on the way down.
And shortly after you, Arkmir, you emerge, diving towards the city. As you're falling, one of the things that you notice immediately, a bolt of red lightning just emerges from this red cloud, and just like loosely, it doesn't strike the. You all have seen those like machines with like the red, like with not red lightning, but just like the lightning
Yeah,
like
just-
tendrils and stuff, right? You know how like that looks different than a
Tesla,
regular like lightning,
Sure.
right? That's like you can see a beam of lightning that just like kind of forms and then like slowly judders and just like scatters across the surface of those globes. It looks kind of like that, as a thread of lightning just like forms contact with the ground and just like judders. And you're certain that if you like were close enough and reached out, you could probably touch it.
Do it.
You're not close enough, but it doesn't seem like it doesn't strike with a force as you've seen before. It kind of just like forms a connection between the glass and the clouds, and like you can see it like judder a little bit and like form, and then it fizzles and fades away. Timon, you're falling. Arkmir, you're probably around 60 or so feet behind him.
Okay.
Nose dive.
Yeah. Probably take you a second to figure out what's going on. I'm seeing myself hurling down. Now I'm just trying to see where everyone is. So I would see time in 60 feet plus. And then everyone else.
You
Like,
would see
you're
me.
kind of
You
gone.
would see me holding, like, trying to hold on to Astra.
Are you
It's
like
also
further south or further
very
down?
cold.
He would have passed me, I think.
You would have passed them.
Yeah.
But you are still above the big.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, at that point, then I will try to actually fall faster to get between at least a few of them, and then I'm gonna cast Feather Fall on on us.
Yeah, that's fine.
I rolled. You didn't.
You
actually
I was
didn't
like,
do
what? No.
I mean, it's happening within the 6 seconds, so it's weird and interesting. But I would say you were able to catch up because you were both moving at about the same time, and you were only like, you weren't. I don't even think
if
you
could
were
catch up
actually
to
like
him,
60
I'd
feet
be like,
behind.
and I'd cast Featherfall the
It's like
second
this.
you got close enough.
Yeah. You're not able to catch up to him because he's falling faster than you, but you're able to get within like enough distance that you're confident that you were able to cast Featherfall. You whip out your hurdy-gurdy, strum a couple of notes, and all of a sudden, both of you are slowly falling towards the ground.
Did you also cast it on Astra?
Yeah, I was
Okay.
casting on you guys
Yeah.
as well.
His,
Oh,
his
okay.
strungs to Ariel.
So now you're getting pulled down by Astra.
Well-
Recognize that song?
As I see the glimmer go over you, I will let go.
You have to let her go before he casts it because of the weird way that spell is worded.
Good
you
luck.
need to actually be falling for that spell. to
Oh
do
yeah,
anything.
choose up to 5 falling creatures within range.
Yes.
Yeah, what the hell?
Like if you're holding on to someone, that
as
spell
he
does nothing.
flies past, I will say goodbye. Good luck.
I like to think of it
What?
as you're like, time for you to die,
Yeah.
Ash.
Well, I will let go of
You
you and
time
then
that
start
into
flying
your-
down beside you. So we're like flying beside each other. You're just falling and I'm flying.
And I'm
Let's
just like,
But you all manage to slowly, safely make your way down. And as you are descending, you notice another, like similar, like almost like strand of lightning just connect between the clouds in a different spot on this glass surface.
Featherfall's really not that slow. 60 feet per round? That's pretty
It's slow.
fucking fast.
Slower than free fall.
It's true.
You also notice a few other things. Firstly, it's cold as walls.
That desert cold.
You're
man.
falling from the sky, and it is genuinely incredibly cold. The city below you can see, is pretty far away still as you make contact with the ground here.
As I like, because I will be. Well, actually, once you guys go into Featherfall, will be basically the same. But when you're free falling, I can't fly that fast. Like my fly speed is not like normal fly speed. Like I basically can move at my run speed.
Okay.
So I would have been slower until you guys Featherfall. Then I could probably get closer. But as we're going, since I don't really know how Silthia is all laid out, can I make out where the entrance or entrance is to this place now? Because right now I know there's like a giant sheet of glass,
Yes.
basically, but somehow there must be a way down. I
Make
see it
a
from up here?
perception check from up here. I'll give you advantage because you have like visual on the entire landscape, basically.
23.
Okay. So the way that you're currently descending and landing, you actually aren't going to hit the glass.
Okay.
You would be just off to one side of it. It would have to. You'd have to take some orientation to figure out exactly
Where's
where.
the North Star?
Yeah. I mean, above you is just a dark cloud.
Shit.
Another thing to note that the dark cloud here is much smaller than the storms that you've been in. It seems much more localized. You can make out a couple of entrances or things that may be potential entrances. There's these large jagged stones that are almost like pointed out away from this glass canyon. And you think you see near one of them, like on the other side of the other side of the stone. You think you see like some glowing light there potentially. There's one that's relatively close to you, and then there's one on the opposite end of the glass, almost
Okay.
like a fair sizable distance away. So there are. It seems like you're able to spot two very similarly shaped, almost jagged rocks, just on opposite ends of this massive glass crack.
Right.
The other thing you all notice, Big One, Arc Mirror, and Timond, you have one level of exhaustion. as you emerge from this red lightning.
So sleepy.
And you are tired.
At least it's not 5.
It used to be worse.
I've died.
What was that one from again? Was that from
The red
Hitting the
The
lightning.
red lightning.
Oh, okay. Crystal is
Theoretically,
it
Timon
makes
would have
us
would have
take
failed
half-
3, Big
half.
One would have failed
Yeah.
2, Arkmir would have failed 2, but because of the crystal,
The
because of
resistance
the
is-
runes,
Yeah, I
Who
got
doesn't
hit,
get
I
affected by it at all.
think, 3 times.
We just get half.
and Calthir you only get
Suckers.
1, which
So it's half.
that's pretty
Yeah, the crystal saved me.
Yep.
Yeah, 3 times. That's what I had to.
As you descend and land onto the ground, you also notice that Timon returns to his regular size. But not quite. He's about a foot taller than what you remember.
He's a tall dwarf.
Wait.
He's about as tall as Astra,
What level
maybe,
10
and
thing
Arthur
did you
now?
just get?
It's weird. You're not used to Timon being taller or as tall as you.
As tall as you know.
Did he just get taller, but his mass stayed the same? So he just kind of like stretched up this way?
He seems like genuinely just bigger.
Because I imagine when he does like the giant mind thing, it's like you just go like he just his ratio stays the same. He's just like gigantic and like
Basically, instead of getting down to his normal size, he's a foot taller.
So like you're shrinking down, but just stopped.
yeah,
Let's
stopped
literally-
part way.
One thing you notice about a big one is
He's
he's
now
half the
tall
size.
dwarf.
Yeah, yeah. I think one is actually way smaller.
I rolled to see how many inches I grew. This is what I rolled.
He was real excited
Yeah.
about that.
11 inches. You grew literally just been a
By
foot.
seeing that, I grew 1 inch.
Yeah.
I grew 2, just not where you can see.
I rolled a
That's-
3
that's
3d4. I rolled a 4, a 4, and a 3.
God damn.
Perfect.
All right.
Yeah,
DM,
you guys
my
are-
question is, do I have normal walking speed?
No, unfortunately, that's not how it works.
We need to get you like some rollerblades or something.
Yeah.
Question
Goddamn.
for
Achilles.
exhaustion rules, just because I popped up on D&D Beyond. Are we using? There's
No,
newer
older
rules.
rules.
Older
Wait,
rules,
what's the
okay.
newer rules?
We'll get to
That'd
we'll
be
do it. We'll
minus,
look at it later.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what they are either.
No, the entire the red lightning storms are balanced around the older rules. I'd have to look at the new ones. I don't think they're not as severe, and I do want them to be severe. So.
That's me, and I've already died.
Calthir, with
Yep.
your passive perception, you also notice like everybody seems a little bit older. Arkmir's hair is a little bit longer.
I'm so haggard
Astra's
as
hair
it
has,
is.
like Astra is fine actually. She looks exactly the same. as
She
she
probably
always
looks
has.
The young little elephant bully you saw the one day ain't the same guy.
Yeah.
I'm missing a half a tusk.
Timon's probably the one on whom it's most noticeable, also because he's bigger.
Yeah.
You just notice more gray
More
hair.
gray.
More gray in his beard and hair.
So at this point, is it safe to assume that, like, because I think every time now we've found in the storm, I've noticed at least one of us
Yes.
look aged. Okay.
You gather that the storm does.
Yeah.
And you also gather that potentially the exhaustion is similarly related.
I've also aged. You just can't tell.
Yes.
They're all
Benefits
bald.
of having a long lifespan.
I'm an elf, man. You'd have to age me hundreds of years.
Is that a wrinkle?
What? Pull something out of my bag.
Yeah, you've landed here on the edge of this
live to?
glass-covered canyon.
Here to 450.
You landed here on the edge of this glassed canyon. It's a very unique site and surroundings. What are you doing as you land here?
First thing I will try. Well, we probably should pull the cold weather gear out of our bags because I don't know about you all, but it's quite chilly here.
If you look at me, I'm sweating. I'm just dripped in fucking sweat.
Yeah, but it's like cold sweats.
Yeah. But
I will, as I'm like
Part of the cold is also you are falling from a massive height.
Sure, but
as you're on the
assume-
ground, it's still
well, actually, I
it's
don't know.
windy. The wind is rushing past you.
I assume it's like
It's
a cold
not
desert.
necessarily super cold. It's actually kind of pleasant.
Weird. Okay.
But
It's not
as
like
you
an
were
earth
falling, your sweat was freezing because you were falling.
I'm
at a-
just
Okay.
covered in icicles
then,
on my body.
then
It's not super cold.
The icicles
windy.
are all
Yeah.
pointing like
Yeah.
this way.
I will try to orient ourselves on like which way north is. Try to figure out which way is which, so that because I would know we
yeah, I
came
drew
from the
that.
north side. Originally, we were heading south, so just trying to figure out.
Grab me a glass of water.
Sure.
What do you need me to roll?
I think you can tell.
Oh,
You
okay.
can generally tell. You're currently on the east side of the massive crack of glass.
Okay.
Sort of near the southeastern end of it.
And then the jagged rock potential entrances, are they on the north south? Are they on the east west? Or are they like
One is on the one that you saw clearly was on the like southeast, so like close to where you are.
Okay.
Probably like maybe 10-15 minute walk.
Oh, okay, super close then.
Very close. The other one that looks similar. Oh god, that's a very precarious glass of water.
Don't spill. And the other one is what? Exact opposite to like the northwestern corner?
Yeah.
Okay.
What did I miss?
The entrance is down into Silthia. There's one on the southeast, really close to us, like maybe a 15-minute walk. And then the other one is on the exact opposite side, on the northwestern side of the sheet of...
Was this like your perception while we were falling? You saw it, or how did we?
I noticed that when we were falling, and then when I got down, I was like, where is that relative to
You
us?
clearly saw
He knows the
one
exact
entrance,
coordinates.
and you reasoned with your high perception that the other rock that looks very similar is probably another entrance.
I was just imagining, Calthur's coming down. I mean, I guess you could go down at your own pace and just mapping everything out.
Of course that's what I
Ultimate
did.
perception.
Yeah. I have my book out.
Y'all are probably like a few, maybe like 100 feet away from where the ground is glass. Over here, where you're standing, it's loose sand. A few like glittering particles within it. The light from the red lightning above you, as it like occasionally darts across, has made everything in almost like a reddish glow. And this like glittering glass is like immediately, it's surreal in many ways.
I think this maybe would have been hard for me to figure out while we were like falling and flying and everything. Now that we're down on the ground stable and can take a second, I know you mentioned that the lightning looked different.
Mm-hmm.
Does the like air around us and everything feel different? Because when we're in the storm, it's like the air's like electric. Like it,
Yeah,
we
the
feel
ground,
it.
the
like
ground
it
kind of floats.
It
Yeah.
does not feel like an active lightning.
Okay. I'll scratch the thing about if it's not actually cold. I wouldn't have said that. It's so cold.
You felt cold while falling. But it's windy. That is something you immediately do notice.
How are you all doing? Is everyone all right?
What the fuck was that up there?
I don't know. I guess we can never be sure where these rifts will open, but I take it this is Silthia, where we were going, based on what we've seen.
Oh, wait. Do we not need to talk about what we just saw?
I think we do.
Well,
I s-
first, thanks for stopping the fall.
Oh yeah, of course.
I would have
Of
been
course.
bloody pancake. But
Wait. You don't normally look me in the eye.
wait, what? What? Are you shorter? What?
Is this?
Wait,
I
you're
know-
shorter too.
I know you typically like to grow in size when you're fighting, but it seems like you haven't quite returned to your normal size.
What?
Is this a delayed
I
effect?
don't know. Am I faster now?
You're running in slow motion.
Balls.
Your movement speed is not just based purely on height. It's based on just your stature and how your movement.
I have a longer stride now, dear.
No, you don't.
That creature.
Casmer.
Never seen or heard of anything like this thing, right?
The beholder.
Do we know what beholders are?
Really? Astra, make a history check. Maybe.
I read a book called Beholders and Me.
Probably not. 10. I rolled a 4.
Nope.
While these guys are talking, Astra's gonna like put her cloak on and then walk over to the glass to like look inside.
What the fuck is she going?
I don't know.
We've
Come on,
touched
what are
down.
you-
Yeah.
Reflective.
Did I kill Teddy?
I think that thing killed Teddy.
But did it kill Teddy because of me? Because I called him out loud?
We all chased him down. He knew what he was doing. And if he was aware that that thing was in there, then he was aware of the risks that he was taking to travel through them. It appears these storms, what's in them, might be a prison.
Looks like it.
And we know that we both saw the thing. We were aware that we both
Yep.
saw it. Okay.
Yeah. You were both staring at it.
Yeah.
And that's you. That the vision ended. You both kind of like looked at each other in the eyes.
When were in the storms, but before we followed Teddy through that rift, there was, what was it? It was like a,
It's like an orb.
Like a crystal ball.
yeah.
Yeah.
There, oh,
You
so we
have-
have it.
It's like a
This.
scry ball, but not.
He placed it there, right?
No.
He placed this, and we saw something. I
What
think
did you
about
see?
this city.
Yeah, it's hard to say for sure, but definitely looks very familiar.
I have to imagine it was a glimpse into, I don't know, the future, a possible future. It showed a city or something crashing out of the sky into this.
Mm.
And I gesture out to the glass.
From the
When we were falling here, there was a moment that I saw something in the clouds through the storm. Buildings,
what?
towers, some sort of,
Landmass.
yes, the one that I think we saw in that vision.
the red home?
Maybe. But I don't know what. I feel like Teddy wanted us to see that. Maybe
He-
to stop it?
He also yelled something before he got zapped. Save the Rift Walkers.
That this could be potentially their downfall.
Not trademark.
Yeah.
Astra, as you walk briefly away from this conversation, just to get to the edge of where this glass canyon forms, you can make out in front of you this glass that it isn't perfectly smooth. It's definitely jagged. There's like places where it's like rising, almost like the sand dunes that are all around you in every direction. And the wind is really kicking up a lot of the sand in your eyes, so you have to like cover your eyes briefly in order to be able to see and duck down with the hood up. You can make out through this glass down below. It's still probably another roughly 1,000 feet below you. A city. Gardens, buildings, lights flickering about, bridges forming from one edge of this canyon to the next. You can see almost like ants farther below. Movement, people moving about. There's large lights, signs. Looks very vibrant. Trees far below, grass, parks, paths, large structures. One actually fairly close to where you are. It's a large, almost like multiple towers, and almost like minarets formed from the sky that are jutting out towards you. A domed roof. Seems like some sort of large, almost marble building. It's pretty close. We're almost right below where you were looking at it. Seems very vibrant, cheerful.
Can I see my reflection in the glass?
Yeah, you can.
Is it just my reflection?
It's just your reflection.
Okay. I'll start heading back to the group.
I think we need to, one, rest, and then
We need to camp. I'm
I
exhausted.
think there is, I believe when we were falling, I saw what I think could be an entrance into the city. If we wanted to make our way in there before night is over, or if you'd feel more comfortable out here before traveling in. But I think we need to figure out what our plan is here. There's been a lot thrown at us in the last little while here. What is-
Here?
I think heading into the city would be good.
Let me, actually, can we just assume we're taking like a short rest here while we're discussing things?
That'll be like 40-45 minutes. You want to spend that time here or continue?
Well, it's up to you. How do you guys...
Probably
You are
makes sense to
out
like
in the
catch our
open.
breath.
There is like a bunch of like there is sand just like being thrown at you. It's not exactly a comfortable short rest. You'd have to almost like set up camp
let's...
to like find shelter because the main thing is there just isn't shelter here.
Look around. Do I see any kind of patrol or any sort of like guard or guard tower or
Make
anything
perception
close?
checks.
Ability checks at disadvantage, if I'm not
Mm-hmm.
mistaken, right?
Because of that exhaustion.
Mm-hmm. Minus 5 feet. No, disadvantage ability. Yeah, no. That too is not gonna give me anything.
That sand too sandy.
Yeah,
Sand.
the longer that you spend out here, like you can feel like your skin and eyes just drying up, and you constantly have to keep like wiping your face clean and your eyes, like wiping the sand out of your eyes, covering your eyes. It's not comfortable at all.
We should try to get out of this then.
If we need help getting down, I have more means of doing it.
I think there should be some sort of entryway over
We can
here.
look. But if we
A
need
short
to,
walk. Yeah. Yeah.
Are they just going to let us in?
I don't know the city very well, but I don't know if they have closed gates or open for travelers.
depends how
Sounds
often
like-
they expect people coming from above.
I had the impression that there were traders going in and out of the city, and at least no one has made it seem, like from the people that we've talked to, that
Traders.
it's a heavily guarded. Yeah, traders. T-R-A-I-T.
Again, it just depends if those traders come in from ground level or if they would expect people coming in from their roof. Might
Traders
be a
like
little
us will be welcome.
That's
suspicious.
Maybe.
Question actually on that. Okay, so if this is like the sandy dunes, the glass is like flush with the dunes, meaning the city is underground.
Yep.
Okay. So there is no like...
Yeah, but it just depends if people ever come in from up here or if there's like tunnels they have to go in to get in.
Oh,
right?
like further away
Yeah.
tunnels. I see. I got it. Yeah.
Also,
Like I don't know how many people come in from the glass roof. Just we'll find out. But
What's our story gonna be?
Oh, actually,
Are we
that's a
gonna
good point.
tell them that we fell from the sky?
No.
We were originally planning to hike across the desert anyways, so.
Yeah, we weren't too far away from the city. As far as they're concerned, we made the trek. We probably also should try to lay low as much as possible. I think we made quite a stir in the last city that we were in pretty quickly upon entering.
Well, we made quite the entrance into this one too.
They don't need to know that.
I think it was pretty cool.
I think perhaps we were just able to find an
Oh.
inn or somewhere to stay.
Do we reveal connections with Shay or with?
I would be wary of mentioning
Vampires.
anyone's name until we get a better understanding of where we're at.
Well, while we're on that, they did say you looked like someone that this city might fear. Perhaps you should
Oh.
cover your hood,
Yeah,
your
what
face a
was-
little bit.
Karis?
Yeah.
Yeah, was it yours?
Karis
He's-
is the big baddie wolf guy.
I don't
The night
know
wolf.
if.
No, Volro.
Oh, Volro's with the...
Well, I'm talking about
the-
Karis.
That's what
But
the
yeah.
the caravan
with the
people
clan,
mentioned.
yeah.
The clan
Yeah.
mentioned them. Or him.
Either way, your face seems to be popping up here and there. I don't know what this city's status is with Karis or
No.
with Voro.
We might find Volro. Apparently, he's looking for a tavern called the Dark Regret.
Hmm.
That
Oh
I
yeah,
think is in
looking
Silthia.
for a tavern on the west wall. We're on the east side. We're on the opposite side. But that's good to know. I can keep my hood up as long as, yeah. I also don't want to make myself look shady, and that I have something to hide. I'll put on my wig.
Paint on eyebrows.
Yeah, I have eyebrows. Perhaps we should just approach this entryway and see what's ahead of us.
Yes.
Maybe just try to keep as much to ourselves until we find a room. I'll start kind of leading towards, because I don't know how easy it is to see from here, but I know the general way that we need to go. towards
There's
the
a few of
jagged
these
rocks.
like jagged rocks just jutting out in the ground around you, while most of your surroundings are this like fine desert sand with
Is it like blades etched around?
glittering particles. There's a few rocks that are very large and almost
Are there dragons
like,
impaled on the spikes?
there's definitely nothing in there.
Are there like? Is there a rock I can grab that's kind of like glass-like?
Huh.
That's an interesting question. I would say no, actually. There aren't any large chunks of
But I'll
rock.
say yes.
As you like, you can reach down and like pick up some of the sand and it filters through. There's grains, like small pieces that shimmer and glitter, but no large chunks of rock. You make your way slowly in the direction of this jagged rock, and probably 10-15 minutes of slowly covering your face. You can see here near the bottom of this rock where it juts out from the ground. There's like a small or a pale green light almost like emerging from it. As you turn the corner, you can see almost like smooth carved hole just like in this ground right below this rock, almost like perfectly round. Seems to be leading downwards.
Does it have steps or is it like a slip and slide?
It's not super steep, and it is winding. You can't see all the way in. You just see the wall in front of you.
But it's like, is it a relatively large tunnel that barely? Okay.
Fairly
Does it look like it would be sized enough to carry like beasts of burden through it, like
Definitely.
a caravan and stuff? Okay. Okay.
It's a big
So
entrance.
it's fairly large.
Yeah, it's probably
Especially
like
for your new
50,
height.
60 feet across.
Do we see any people?
No, we do not.
Okay.
True.
I
We
guess
do not see anybody.
seems some sort of entrance if it's large enough to. It's definitely not a secret entrance.
What time? Do we have a sense of what time of day it is?
It's
Night.
late at night. You don't
Okay.
exactly know what time at night, but
Late
it's
at
pretty
night.
late at night.
Okay.
It's still bustling in there. I took a look.
Yeah.
There's people. Big marble building. Kind of right near the entrance.
Try and find an inn for the evening.
As you begin making your descent down into this tunnel, it does curve almost immediately away from the wall, and it almost like begins to almost spiral further down. And not very much later, as it almost like straightens out, you hear a voice shout out at you, "Halt! Who goes there?"
Can we see them? Or do we just hear a voice?
You just hear them currently.
And this has been lit all the way down?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's like occasionally on the wall, there's like these floating, almost orbs of pure green light They're just like illuminating this entire. It's like pale green, almost yellow.
I'm gonna try whispering to you. Does Schema trade with Silthia, I assume? Like they get along, these cities?
Make a history check.
Gee.
I was gonna say travelers. In the meantime.
Hope, friend.
Just a minute.
23.
They definitely do. The artificers don't, because they tend to keep to themselves, particularly any of their trade secrets. But
Yeah,
fairly
Schema certainly trades with other Rexates, including Silthia, but not artificer needs, to what I understand.
In case they probe for more of where we came from, maybe we just say we're from Schema.
Does Cornwall trade with?
Do you
make a history check.
want to do your bidding? You're pretty good at this.
Hi.
Yeah.
Do we see them yet or no?
1 second.
History. That's a 12.
I mean, probably. Cornwall trades with kind of everyone, but a lot of trade in. The thing is, a lot of trade in Rivenact is very much like on a trader basis. There's very few, or not very often is it like an entire Rexite trading. It's just like trade caravans from like merchants that are responsible for a lot of it. So, make a perception check. Whoever's looking for this figure, you were also asking that. So,
Perception. What is it?
At disadvantage.
Oh yeah. Ability
19.
checks. You probably don't need a disadvantage after that roll. Perception. 10. That's without my d6. If that matters.
you don't see anything,
No.
but you can make out less of. You don't see anyone, but you can almost like you hear like a movement of a foot, and almost like a footstep in front of you. You don't see anyone there.
Okay. I'll just look at you and like gesture like.
It's like I throw my dagger. We're travelers from Schema.
We come in peace.
You arrive in the middle of the night in the desert, dangerous, on your own, with no goods to trade.
At this point, we felt like just throughout during the desert's not a pleasant place to stay in during the night. We thought, from what I've heard, Silthia would be a welcoming place.
The elevator is shut for night. As you're watching, you see almost like a shimmer as an invisibility drops. As you can make out a dark-skinned figure with long white hair and almost decked out in like military armor. It's a male figure with like glowing almost or like bright red eyes, dark purple skin, silvery hair. The first thing you immediately notice is that he doesn't seem to be armed. The second thing you immediately notice is across one of his eyes is like dark red. Across the other one, he is wearing almost like it's a monocle or an eye patch with a bright green lens in it, embedded within it.
He's reading our power levels.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's just looking across all of you, and you notice a glint of like and a pulse of like green light energy through this lens. He's wearing almost like dark brown leather armor with like straps and belts and a lot of pouches, but no weapon.
Is there
He
any
looks
way...
across all of you.
Oh.
You also seem fairly well equipped. What is it that truly brings you here?
They said, traveling across the desert is a treacherous thing. Do you know many who travel without weaponry?
Which you're carrying is not simple weaponry, I would say.
Yeah. Is that...
He turns around and just continues down the tunnel.
Do we
follow him? Do I follow him?
Okay.
What's your name, friend?
None of your business. He continues making his way down the tunnel, and very shortly after this, you notice that the tunnel almost opens up. There actually seems to be, to your right, like a larger cavern that's a lot wider and open. But almost right in front of you, there's just this large, thick stone gate that's just closed. There's a few pillars beside it that are all both carved with like arcane runes. There's a glowing green crystal above the middle of it, but it is definitely shut. You notice a small like lean-to shelter with like a chair just located just like in a little alcove to the left.
Oh, he said
And a large open like area with like honestly a couple of like scattered old tents, bedrolls, large enough to be almost like an encampment of sorts.
As we're following him in the way that he's talking and looking us over, can I get a sense that he is walking around this as if he is a guard who is manning this space and trying and just being cautious, or somebody who is like doesn't belong and is potentially trying to lure us into something?
Make an insight check.
Disadvantage.
Can I help?
You didn't get a point?
Oh.
Oh, you little bitch. Nar.
No. That would be 22.
He's very hard to read.
This is like, I don't know why it's making me think of like Heimdall or something. Like guarding it, you can see all these things about us. Like,
Yeah. Okay.
He's very hard to read.
I'm giving him a little bit of a quizzical look, but still just keeping an eye on him.
He puts his hands in his pockets and just like continues walking
I
out.
forget. Was it Linda? I'm not even forgetting the name altogether.
Linda?
In Schema. But did she talk about going to Silthia at all? Or was that... Maybe it wasn't
I
her.
don't remember. I mean, Shay was from Silthia, but
Yeah. I thought there was someone else in Schema that had also
Probably.
talked about going to Silthia.
Probably like for the libraries. Right?
He walks over to like the small alcove, nods his head over to the side, to the other side where he just this like fenced-in area almost is. Feel free to make camp for the night. Gates will open tomorrow morning.
Well, thank you. I'll walk over and I'll extend my hand out regardless. Hi, I'm Arkner Croft.
Make a persuasion check.
He's gonna stab you in the heart.
Oh, damn it, disadvantage. Okay.
do it again.
Okay, at least a 17.
You can make it higher.
He sticks out his hand. Shakes it. And he's got these like leather gloves on. Shake his hand. And he nods and just takes a seat in his thing, just keeping an eye on all of you.
Guess we're not getting in tonight.
Well, at least we can short rest here and be protected from the sands, I imagine. What's... sorry, I didn't get your name.
You can call me Riker.
Riker?
Riker.
With a
What
Y?
a
Wait.
badass.
How did he sit on the chair?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you do the Riker maneuver?
I'm gonna be entirely honest. This guy's name up until earlier today was Riddick, so I just had to change it after our conversation earlier. Sure,
Is
he
it with a Y?
looked exactly like you wanted
Oh
it to.
my god, this guy's the best.
It is with an I, not with a Y.
Aww.
Like biker, but with an R?
Yes.
With an I?
Yeah.
That's how you say it out loud too.
Weird, I've never seen somebody spell it that way.
Are you a city god?
You can say that.
Do you enjoy what you do?
Keep the city safe. It's a job.
Have you read any good books lately?
Tell me more about that staff on your back.
Oh, fuck.
I haven't read that one. Who's the author?
He just silently looks away from you.
Folks, leave him alone. I have family in the guards in Cornwall, and none of them enjoy the night shift.
Apologies.
I immediately take my pants off and I go to
Does his legs look longer?
Did your pants scale with you?
No, they're short.
They're shorter.
Is there,
Giant smite,
is there
everything
anybody
I
else
carry
in this
scales
area?
with me, so I assume it does.
and what kind of is the lay of the
Just the
land
pants
here?
are
Like, what are we dealing with?
So you went down this tunnel. It was fairly windy. You're quite a bit below ground level at this point. Directly in front of you is this massive stone gate that's like recessed into the wall a little bit. Around you, there's a few pillars just scattered that seem to be mostly for ornamental purpose. To be honest, there aren't really load bearing. To the left from where you came in, there's a small alcove with like a small desk and like a bench. That's where Riker went into. And to your right, there's almost like a open cavern of sorts that's got like a fence in front of it, but a small entrance that you can make your way through. And inside of this little like encampment area, there's like a few scattered tents, a few bedrolls. They're all abandoned. There's nobody here. But there's signs that there was a camp made here, or several camps made in the past. But it is all empty right now.
Is that safe to camp here, friend? Do we need to have our guards up?
No, I can take care of that.
That's very appreciated.
Never seen such a tall door.
To be perfectly honest, neither have I. I turned my back.
I saw it in the Hobbit movie once.
You're a strange bunch.
Thank you.
I'm just kind of just doing a lap around the area and just double checking, seeing what's in here, making sure nothing out of the ordinary.
I'm just playing a silent tune on the hurdy-gurdy.
A silent.
Well, yeah, silent is very quiet.
He's over there.
I'm just air.
Yeah,
running.
yeah.
Yeah, it's fairly empty. There's like a few scraps of like rope, maybe some remnants of food left behind. Seems like just a encampment area for people who were spending the night while waiting for food. So
Once we're in there a little bit, like Riker's like sitting over in that other area, right? Once we're in there a little bit further in, we'll just say, if like you all look pretty tired, if you'd like, I will stay up for a little while. Once you've gotten some rest, then I can do my meditation for the evening and before we go. He's already out, yeah. I'll keep an eye in case anything
I
happens.
guess we're actually able to long rest, right?
Should be able to. So yeah, I'll just like kind of in the center-ish area of the room. Sit down, but not. Just kind of get ready to
Yeah, I'll
start facing outwards, so they're behind me.
yeah.
And then I'll just be taking down a lot of notes of what I just experienced over the last 24 hours.
Well, he passed out instantly. I'll wait for them to get settled in their beds, and then I'm just going to creep over to Calthier. Excuse me, Mr. Calthier, do you have a moment?
Sure. Are you sure you don't need some sleep?
Oh, I think I need more than one night's sleep for sure. Back with that creature thing. Something happened to me. I don't entirely know what it was. I used to think that I was getting, maybe flashbacks, or I don't know what I was seeing before, but I saw something that felt as real as anything, like a memory that I had. But it was not something that happened to me. Like you told me all about, you call it your big one. I'm not so sure he and I are different.
Do I recall him getting hit by any sort of blast or anything?
You remember?
I
he
got
was
hit by the
charmed
charm thing.
for a
Right.
while. And you remember him almost like trying to wrestle with like what you guys were asking him to do and what
Right.
like his instinct was to do.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And then the next thing you remember is seeing him falling from the sky and like split and like full on panic attack.
To be honest, what's happened with you has been completely out of the ordinary of what I understand. I think we did what we thought would bring back the big one we knew in a way that is more familiar to me and my studies and the way that those who have fallen ill have come back before. But we used unconventional ways when dealing with the other, and what's been happening with you is something that I'm not sure anyone can quite explain. You mentioned before having some recollection of things that did not happen directly with you, but to the one that we traveled with.
Yes.
Perhaps you've reached some point at which the line between the you knew formerly and the you we knew formerly are blurring, and the memories of both of you are now combining in your
Jesus.
in your mind. Is there something in particular that...
Well, before, I would get little glimpses of things that I knew I've never seen in my life, but when I brought them up, something Astra or Arkmir or somebody said that I would have known prior. But the image or the memory I got earlier was... It's like I could feel it happening. It was an experiment that I did years ago that I knew I did perfect, but this time it didn't. And you'll just see him look down at his arm. Confused though, I don't know, it was painful, it was embarrassing, it was stressful. I've never felt anything like that before. I don't think it happened, but I also can remember it not happening. It's hard to explain. But it froze me in place, and I just lost control over my emotions.
The one that we traveled with previously...
Howard is formerly known as Prince.
Yeah.
Okay.
He mentioned an experiment that he had attempted in his past. One that unfortunately left him
Without an arm.
without an arm, yes. His father, I believe, had built a replacement arm, but his own flesh and blood was not.
Question.
Yes.
Current big one.
Mm-hmm.
Before he met up with them, was his arm spectral?
His arm was that weird, gooey.
Before though, before he woke up with these folks.
No, you remember your arm being perfectly
So
normal.
yeah, okay.
But when you woke up, it was weird.
Weird
and your
and
arm
gooey,
was
and then it kind of
weirdly
came back to
gooey
form.
material.
Yeah.
And it is still almost like translucent.
Yeah, it's not really
still
there.
not normal
Yeah.
in any way.
I think, I mean, obviously you have your arm and what we...
Not what I remember. Can I remove the gauntlet? Is that something that I need to
Yeah.
see? Okay. I will take off the battle fist.
You can see that the arm isn't like the arm doesn't match the rest of his body. It is still almost that like spectral, ethereal energy, similar to what his echoes look like.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like full material. It's also not a prosthetic, but
Before I met you, it was just a normal arm.
I think it's not clear what's happening with your memories and what you feel are your experiences. I think there are some who believe that we are merely just our memories. I don't think it's that simple. I think at the end of the day, the decision of who you are lands on you and what you do with the experiences you've had. It may be difficult to process everything that's happening right now. And maybe we'll be able to find someone who can explain this more. If you have more questions about the big one that we traveled with before, I'd be happy to talk through it, at least what I know of him. But if you now have these memories, or at least you're getting more of them, that doesn't necessarily mean you're losing who you are.
Well, I'm not worried about losing myself. I'm not necessarily at a point where I think the two of us were actually different. Just different time variations of when you met me and when I met you, which sounds the same but also very odd and different.
Yes.
It
quite
seems like
confusing.
my memory's trying to piece it all back together.
Yes.
Very weird. Yeah, I would love to learn what happened to my arm. I mean, I never really, aside from the battle fist that we created back in Schema, the weird blue swirling version of myself, that only came up when I met you folks. It just seemed like I had it in me. I don't know. It's all very odd and just concerned that that didn't feel like a past or somebody else's memory. It felt like my own, and I don't want it to be a burden, is what I'm trying to say.
No, not at all. I also hope that you don't feel like we want you to become the big one that we had known. I don't want to speak for the rest of the group, but I recognize that you are two different people, even if you say or believe that you are one and the same. Like you're your own identity. So don't feel like we're hoping that you become more like this other individual.
That's good to hear. Yeah. Well, thank you. Yeah, I felt like I should tell somebody in case that happens again, because I don't really know how to stop it necessarily.
Yes,
Hopefully we don't get zapped by a big creepy monster anytime soon, because that
hope
definitely
not.
didn't help. But
thank you for trusting me. At least have this
well,
conversation.
you're weird, so I figured that
Yes.
this is right
I've
up your
been told.
alley. But good weird, very good weird.
Oh, that's good.
It's great to have your company too.
Been getting a lot of that today.
Yeah.
Incredibly ugly or whatever. I saw it in a newspaper article too.
Yes. I wrote a whole article about it.
Yeah. No, I think you don't give yourself enough credit for the wisdom you provide the group. So you might need to work on your conversational skills a little bit, but other than that, you're pretty cool too.
Well, thank you.
I'm gonna go get some sleep.
Yes,
I think.
get some sleep.
One more question. You wouldn't know how to make me like faster in fight. Like, whenever we get sprung upon, I'm really slow to act all the time, and I don't know if it's a courage thing or something like that. Yeah, I want to be brave like Arkmir, who always seems to get the jump really quickly, but every time something pops up, I'm like, oh, and
I actually do. There is a blessing that I can bestow upon one of us.
Oh,
I've
great.
been helping Tymond with that. He's always eager to get into battle, but
he's
not
very
always quick to act.
bloodthirsty. Sure.
So I've been
Sure.
trying to help him with that.
No,
but
it's just
perhaps
that, or you might not notice, but elephant folk aren't the most dexterous creatures, so maybe with all the money Arkmir keeps hoarding, he can buy me an item that'll improve my dexterity. But it's just a thought. Anyway, make sure you get some rest or
I will.
meditation or whatever. Thank you. And
Sleep well.
We'll go sit in a corner, pull my goggles down, and fall asleep.
With your passive perception, as your watch begins, it's been the first maybe half an hour or so.
I actually did want to go over to
Yeah.
Riker. That was
Oh,
fine.
Riker.
As you approach him, you notice that he's whispering something under his breath.
Ivan Adiaj.
As you approach, he stops and looks back up, looks back at you.
Is he just sitting down there?
No.
Or, do you mind if I sit down beside you?
Sure. I actually was going to come talk to you. Did you say your name was Arkmir?
Correct.
We've got him.
Is he? Is he playing?
No, he's a drow. Like a
Oh,
full drow.
okay.
Oh.
Because you said red eyes. You said red eyes, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
purple skin. I thought it was
He's-
similar to
he's a
Arkmir,
drow.
but- Oh, okay.
Does
He
know-
has the pale.
I thought he was the
like,
opposite
white
of you. Because
hair,
don't you have
pointed,
purple hair?
Pointed
I have
ears.
purple
He
hair.
looked.
Pinkish, whatever it is.
His
Violet
skin
hair,
is
red
purple,
skin.
white.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he said red
No,
eyes,
no.
so I thought he was. Yeah.
For Riker.
He's a
He's a drow. Makes sense. Okay,
He's
okay.
similar to Drew. But,
Yeah, I was gonna say.
No, it makes sense.
Jadru.
Wait a minute.
Dredger.
Do you know Drew?
Just anybody he meets that
What's
looks
your,
like.
what's your purpose visiting the city? I need to fill out some paperwork to grant you all entrance.
Do I believe him?
Straight up whorehouse.
Make an
Just tell
insight
him.
check.
We heard the horse here.
Yeah. I want to know about the. Yeah. That's what. Okay, listen. That's what they're here for.
I heard Silthia carries that wet ass P word.
I will roll.
I heard it in a song once.
Oh, not good. 12.
He's really hard to read.
Okay.
Yeah, I
But he does have like a notebook that he's taken out.
Well,
Like,
I'm sure you're familiar with the red lightning storms. I'm just pointing out of the cave.
yeah.
Well, from Schema, we've been told that Silthia is an expert in this domain, and there's a lot that we can learn. If you don't, we're ready. There was, I guess, a ward in Schema that was affected by the red lightning storms, and there may be more soon. I'm not sure what you're doing here in Silthia to protect yourselves, but honestly, anything that we could learn would be beneficial.
So research. He just writes down in his notebook. Research.
Specifically, we've been told the Synchroprophic Academy would be a good place to start. Do you know anywhere else that may be helpful?
The academies, the libraries. There's many in the Crimson Canyon. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not one much for studies, so wouldn't be able to help you much with that.
Are you a dark regret kind of guy? I'm joking, I don't say that.
Well, what do you say once you get off? We go hit up the down.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take down the names of all of you and your companions here in this report. You mentioned yours was Arkmir.
Correct.
Any last name?
No.
You introduced
Just
yourself.
No.
He's
like,
already
wait, what was
forgotten it. So he
What?
doesn't
How's this guy
care.
forgotten it when he's been like so adept at analyzing all of us? He's not very good at
You,
his job.
you matter
It's all
very
visual.
little to
It's all visual.
Arkmere Croft.
Arthur Croft. And your companions? The tall dwarf?
The tall dwarf. Timon.
Dwarf is so hot.
Diamond. Any last name?
Timon.
Started drawing Riker.
Ironbeard.
Ironbeard. Sorry.
He's Vegeta.
Here's Vegeta.
Oh, I messed up a lot of last names here.
The purple tiefling? Or the pink tiefling?
Purple.
Astra.
Any last name?
Astra Maris.
That's
Yes.
my-
You're the only one
first
talking.
name.
We're not
Yeah.
there. So that's up to you what you say.
Just blindly giving a random stranger all of our information.
Yep.
The big elephant?
How dare you call me an
He's,
elephant?
the big one?
Does he have a name?
That's what he goes by. That's as far as we know.
Interesting. And the pale elf?
You didn't want to know his last name?
I just assumed that the big one was a...
The big one, Jones.
Actually, no, his last name is. I don't know. Do we ever know what Spark Guy's last name?
Yeah.
It's Spark Guy.
Yeah, his last name's Spark Eye.
Oh, his last name's Spark Guy. Oh, the big one's
Last
Spark Guy.
name. Last
Big
name's
Spark Guy.
I.
Okay.
Yeah, I.
Sure. And the pale elf?
I say Paul Road. No. Calthier.
His full name is Yanvak. Yanovic? Yanovic.
And your last name?
Yanavak.
Whatever it is, I don't actually
Adkar.
remember.
Whatever it is.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. I remember all these last names here. I write them all down. Ed.
See, interesting, because the report that I have says that your name is Salvir.
Oh.
That's the message that I've received.
Sorry,
from
say that
my
again.
superiors, is that your name is Salvir.
Oh.
And
Anyways, I gotta go.
you're to be sent to the Gilded Oasis
That sounds nice.
in the Eastwall. There's,
He just stick a dagger in his heart. Just slowly.
as much as I don't want to grant you all access to the city, my superiors have requested that you be granted entrance. Would you mind telling me why that may be?
Honestly, you know as much as I do.
Guy.
Ask your
Like I said,
superiors,
we're
bitch.
here
Yeah.
to learn more about the Red Lightning Storms. I'm not.
Not many folks travel across the desert in the middle of the night,
My
across the
understanding is
storms.
the middle of the night is the best time to travel across the desert.
Not quite. It's the best time to travel in some places in the desert. Near the city, however. Notice how the storms are a lot less active here?
Mm-hmm.
Away from the city, they're much more active.
Oh, we know.
We've noticed.
You all arriving in the middle of the night, decked out with all sorts of powerful magic items, presence of sorts that requires intervention from members of the Gilded Oasis. I'll
What
keep
is-
my eye on you all.
What is the Gilded Oasis?
It's a tavern of sorts. Apparently somebody's either staying there and has requested to grant you access, or somebody works there and has requested to grant you access. They specifically mentioned a tiefling. When I mentioned that you had introduced yourself as Arkmere Croft and reported into my superiors, there was word that said to let you in and to specifically tell you to visit the Gilded Oasis.
Just me?
That was indeed the message.
Interesting.
gates are not going to open till morning anyways, so...
So we're kind of in like a cavernous area, right?
Echoing.
Yeah, like my perception is like really high. Am I making out any of this conversation that's happening?
Make a perception check. He's not trying to be, super quiet, but he is speaking in a lower tone. So I'll say a DC 15 perception.
Because, yeah, basically, like, if I had I would have seen Arkmir go back around and been like, hey. So I would have been, like, trying to, like, I'm not going to move. I'm not going to, like, do anything to, like, try to listen in, like, beyond just if I can make it out where I'm
If we
sitting.
can hear them,
He's whispering into my ear.
Timon snoring must be so loud. Like
pretty
echoing.
15.
You can make out portions of the
Some of
conversation
it?
enough to track most of it.
Okay. I'm writing down everything I'm hearing. Gilded Oasis.
Like a rubber arm.
Yeah.
It's also what's strange to me, and the part that's slightly weirder, is that nobody enters from the east gate. Where you said you were coming from Schema. This is by far the opposite end of where you would be entering the city from. So, let's just say a lot of what you all have said doesn't add up, but my superiors demand that you be granted access to the city.
This guy sucks.
He's a good guard.
Dick.
Very much like a cop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the middle of the night. In the night shift.
Can I just show him my boobs and like get over it?
I'll do the same.
Yeah.
I already shown him some ass.
The four of us are just behind Arkmir, like,
Yeah. Is this enough?
does this help?
The only thing in the direction of this entrance, and why it's mostly deserted, would be Diamark, and none of you seem like particularly holy chaps.
I've never
Or
been
genuinely
to Denmark.
nothing.
Do we seem like people that could navigate the desert?
If you weren't, you wouldn't have made it this far. Anyways, I will keep an eye on you all and keep having conversations with my superiors. Feel free to get some rest.
Do we hear him talking to his superiors? If
He's kind
mumbling
of he's stopped for now, but if you walk away, you can notice him like mumbling.
it? Can you hear him?
I doubt it. Yeah.
Unless you have the ability to like read his lips, that would be the only.
I
way
don't
to
have that for sure.
potentially-
But I'm also not looking over where you guys are.
or
Is he
maybe-
speaking in English or a different language?
English.
Where
Sorry,
was
whatever.
Common.
Common, sorry.
He's
Sorry.
very careful. He's very careful not to speak while you're within earshot, so you can't really make out.
Do you speak English? The fuck is this guy?
As Arkmir
Been
walks back
cancelled
to
by the
you,
D&D community.
as Arkmir walks back to you, you're still sitting there, keeping an eye on the situation.
I'm like writing in my book, but I do look up. Just, Yeah. I'm not going to say anything, but I'll just give you a nod.
You're not going to tell Arkmir about my dexterity request?
So do you go to bed, or are you staying up? What are you doing? Are you keeping Calthir company while he's watching
You have
for the
exhaustion,
first
right?
part of his watch?
I do have exhaustion, yeah. So I
Go
will
to
be
bed.
heading to bed.
Go to bed.
I'll just look over at Calvin like, oh, tomorrow might be interesting. Just gonna
It might be.
to bed.
Maybe just.
As you all go to sleep, Calthir, you're keeping watch. Astra. Your mind slowly drifting to sleep. You find yourself tired and exhausted, but not quite asleep yet. You're woozy, you open your eyes and you find yourself in what must be a dream of sorts. You're in an empty space. The ground is this pale, grayish stone, stone-like matter. Above you in the sky, there's stars all around you. In front of you, there's a small table with 2 chairs on opposite ends. And one of the chairs is empty. The other chair sitting there is a woman. You don't recognize her. She's wearing long purple robes, pale white skin, dark black, almost like graying hair. Around her neck is a pendant, in the middle of which there's a spinning hourglass with purple sand inside of it.
Sure is.
But
She's sitting there with
Astra
her
doesn't know.
head in her
You know.
hands, almost as though she's just lost in thought. What do you do?
Hello?
Show her your boobs.
You just
Can I come in?
you just see her almost like gesture to you to come, Astra. Thank you. Take a seat.
You know my name.
Yes, you told me your name.
Do I recognize the voice?
You recognize the voice.
Staff lady.
This
Yeah.
voice from your staff
Oh no.
that you've been hearing in your head for a while now.
Oh.
We'll find it after.
She's sitting there with her head in her hands. Thank you for trusting me and for letting me help you. I'm sorry, I'm still processing. I don't know. I still see his face.
Whose face?
I see faces now. A man with eyes as sharp as the 2 swords on his back. The
Oh.
black armor is. I see a woman.
That sounds like Teddy.
I see a woman with hair black obsidian.
That could be anyone.
with metal armor and a strange metallic contraption. I see a dragonborn, a friend. All of these are friends. They called me something important. I can almost hear it just on the edge of my memory. What have I lost? What have I broken? What did I leave behind? And she just has her head in her face. And
You're putting an awful lot of pressure on yourself, you know. For someone who doesn't remember, you're kind of blaming yourself for an awful lot right now.
you hear off in the distance gongs of clocks ringing.
Are we on a time crunch?
See, I was someone once, somewhere.
It seems to be coming back. You're getting stronger. I felt it in the staff. I was able to do things with you that I've never been able to do before. You remember your friend, you remember Teddy. His name's Teddy, Theodore Constantine. You remember, I don't know, the black-haired lady. I don't know who that is, but there was a time where you didn't know who or what or where you were, and
There was a tower, a fortress, a city. Endless gears of clockwork just turning, grinding away time itself. I walked its halls. Did I guard it? Or was I trying to escape it? I can hear the ticking,
me too.
but it's wrong. Everything's wrong. The air here doesn't vibrate right. The stars we were out underneath, they're not where they should be. Everything's wrong.
Are you from
Was it my fault?
No. Well, I mean, maybe. I don't know. But I wonder if maybe you're from a different timeline. I have a friend where something similar happened, where we kind of kidnapped him from his timeline, but that's a whole other story. Maybe it's something similar for you, where you're in a different timeline.
This place where we are, something about this is important. It's close to me. Maybe I was born here, maybe I lived here, but this place is.
This place right here?
There's something here.
It kind of looks
There's
like
a
a whole lot of
library.
nothing.
There's a library. There's the library.
Wait, are you talking about in Silthia? Like the place that... Not this place, like table and a whole lot of nothingness. You mean Silthia? There is a library.
Somewhere near us, there's a library. There's a library that's very important to me.
I'll take you there.
I greatly appreciate it. Thank you.
Is
We
it...
weren't able to save my friend. I saw his end. I saw his end coming, and I couldn't stop it. But the rest of them are still out there.
Yeah, sorry about that.
I have to save them.
I can help you.
Thank you.
Does the what was it called? Syncotrophic? Syncrophatic? Syncocrophic
The graphic.
Academy of Magic? Does that sound familiar to you? Because apparently that's the thing here where people go to study magic, and I hear they might have flying brooms. That's a side fact, but I really want a flying broom.
You see her almost like close her eyes and just like clutch her face with both hands. There's something familiar about it, but everything just keeps slipping away.
You're getting stronger. It seems every time I use the staff, you get stronger and you remember a little bit more. I think every time I do that, though, I'm kind of betraying one of my oldest friends, but...
I'm sorry you feel that way. I'm sorry to put you through this.
It's not your fault. I mean, I have it on good authority that you can be trusted. I mean, I'm the one that told myself that, so...
Sometimes the things you say don't quite make sense.
People keep saying that.
True.
I do thank you for trusting me and helping me. As the world around you begins to almost like fade and almost like you begin to fall asleep, because it's like your eyes begin to black out and you begin to enter the liminal space between wakefulness and sleep. You just see her looking at you with her hands. She looks up into your eyes. Does the name Anya mean anything to you? And she's-
Yes?
Say no.
You
Say no.
Yes?
Sleep.
Wait.
I can't write it down.
Maybe she said it wrong. Maybe it was Anja.
Motherfucker!
Oh my god.
Yep.
Now you're asleep, you're gonna forget it because you forget
Hear
things.
a little fart go off.
Little one.
Echoes.
It's a bigger butt crack now.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
they're large.
It's just longer.
Yep.
You're taking your notes, so you keep looking up and staring at Riker, who's throughout the course of the night he has nothing else to do. It's very much like looking back.
Does he have like a line directly into the room?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought it was like around the corner. Then yeah, like I'm basically like directly in his line because I'm sitting in the middle of the room. Yeah. I'm not gonna gesture to him really or anything. I'm just taking notes. I'll look at him periodically, but
While the rest of your companions are asleep, he gets up, walks over. It's up to you if you would like the rest of the group to leave the table for this conversation.
Nah.
Oh shit.
Received reports from some of my companions of a figure similar as yours, another elf,
Told you should have face painted.
pale of skin, black eyes, wearing similar garb that arrived at the northwestern gate recently. Would you happen to know him?
I don't, but when we were traveling days ago, we passed through a caravan, and they mentioned they had done trade with someone who matched the description.
Make a persuasion check or a deception check, up to you.
Mm. 15?
It's rare enough to see a figure such as you visiting a city such as this, and twice within the same week. Apparently there was reports of another figure.
Another that looked like me?
Yes.
Oh?
They were in chains.
They were in chains.
Oh, get out of it. They were in chains.
It's the third person.
Yeah.
Kinky.
They were a prisoner?
Yes. A lot of things that you all have told me haven't added up. But the one thing from all of these reports that seems strange to me is that you are traveling with a companion.
Traveling with several companions.
He gestures towards Artmere, where he's lying there.
Is that the look you made?
The one who was imprisoned came with a similar, very similar companion,
Wait.
leading her along.
Mm-hmm.
Her.
But we're best friends.
Does the name Garnet mean anything to you?
Is he Garnet?
Yeah. It's the other red fucking fuck boy that we saw too.
I've heard the name.
Fuckboy one.
Yeah, more boy.
Well, your paths will cross soon, probably tomorrow.
I just figured it all out. I rearranged Calfair.
That's true.
This is Face Off, man. You can't tell me that this ain't fucking Face Off.
She arrived here a few days ago with a companion who's almost a entourage of sorts, as well as some prisoners or potentially slaves, I don't know. And one of them bore a striking resemblance to you.
There were multiple prisoners, though.
There were.
Or multiple in chains.
I don't know what the purpose of her visit were.
So anyone can freely bring in another in chains into the city?
With enough power or wealth, yes.
I'm gonna come up to you.
And she
I've
has
got an
both.
idea. Hear me out.
Make a persuasion or deception check for me.
18.
I can tell that the information I just gave you seems to have disconcerted you a bit, so I'll keep it short. Prisoners in chain, in particular in this city, probably allowed, but my superiors have advised me that Lady Garnet's show of, let's just say, political influence was not appreciated. If you do get a chance to visit her and make her life in the city a little bit difficult, the Mage Guard will support you.
Are you saying Lady Garnet is here?
She is. At the Gilded Oasis.
Oh, shit.
She requested that your friend be sent their way
Just running
and
everywhere.
allowed access into the city.
She'll look. Honestly.
We don't usually accept the slave trade or anything as such within our city, but with her power, wealth, and influence, we couldn't really act against it. However, when this request came in to grant very specifically your group entry, I don't think you'd, based on my judgment of you and your reaction and your character here, I don't think you appreciate a fellow or a friend of yours or your kin or whoever they may be. Some sort of familiarity seemed to spark across your eyes. And I don't think you appreciate them being in chains. So I'll tell you this and hope that you can solve one of my problems.
I fucking hate this guy. He sucks.
Oh.
Let's get the shit disturber.
So wait. You want us to disrupt Lady Garnet's play for power here in some manner?
Yes.
The prisoners are not with Lady Garnet.
They are. They were brought into the city with her.
So if we disrupt her power, how will we get these prisoners free?
I imagine you can find a way.
What interest is it then of us to disrupt her power?
I have a hunch. Welcome to Silthia. Everything here is layers upon layers upon layers upon layers of power plays and struggles. Especially amongst those gifted with the arcane abilities. And Lady Garnet is quite gifted.
Alright.
I'll let you sit, think, and rest. Gates will open at dawn.
While that conversation was happening, even though I found him hard to read before, I'm going to still try while he's saying these things. So I'm trying to get the impression, or seeing if he is basically being truthful in that he wants us to go against Lady Garnet, and not that this is some weird power play to like convince us to do something really stupid that plays right into her hand or something.
Sure.
Like he's trying to reverse psychology us to be like,
Make an insight check.
"23." Yeah.
Everything that he said has been layered in trying to keep guarded, trying to keep information close to his chest. But in this conversation with you, you did notice him open up and give you more details than his prior being closed off had. You get the sense that obviously he or the people that he's working with want something. And they see you all as a means of achieving that something. There may be another ulterior motive to it, but you can tell that he genuinely does see you all as being valuable and helping to thwart Lady Garland.
Okay. Excuse me.
As you process this information, you continue your watch. He goes and he sits down, and now he's a lot more relaxed. Whereas before he was constantly like keeping an eye on you. Now he's mostly just sitting there. He just pulled out like a book of sorts or something. He's like taking some notes in it. Almost very similar to what you were doing earlier, actually. That's writing in your journal.
Oh, okay.
As your watch nears its end, about halfway through the night, do you wake up?
They start to wake up, I assume.
Who do you wake up? Are
Oh,
you
who
taking
do
the
you wake
whole
up?
watch, or
No. Like, well, I would stay awake until they can get up. I
Oh, okay.
assume, because I only need
Right.
the 4.
well,
I don't
the
need-
dawn is going to come before any of you gets a long rest, so the gates are going to open, but you all can just
Yeah, they're exhausted, so they need to get a full long rest, anyways.
since you're awake at that time, you notice the like crystal up in the above the gate, almost like flickers off for a bit, and like the glow almost like dissipates, and the gates begin to like slide open. It makes a loud grinding stone noise. I would say some of them wake up or like come to and then fall back asleep. Just out of sheer exhaustion. The gates are open. Nobody's coming in or out.
Yeah. Once I feel like they've gotten their long rest, I'll go to wake up Arkmir.
Reknerd.
Well, hi.
No, I'll wake you up. Just say, the gates are open, I think. Still, the others is still sleeping and I'll need some time, but dawn has come. We need to talk about things later. And then I'll go over to the side and go into meditation.
You're up. You're awake. Is there
Gonna
anything?
go shackle Calculator.
That's you.
Oh, that's me. wearing John Travolta's face.
I'm on team.
The rest of the night and the early morning seems to pass fairly uneventfully. Nothing happens. Nobody exits from this entrance. Nobody enters from this entrance.
There's no change of guard.
No change of guard.
Oh, poor guy.
The rest of your companions begin to wake up, finish their rest. Calculator's still resting for a bit, but the rest of you wake up.
Completing the long rest?
Yes.
Poggers.
You can also complete the long rest. You will, inevitably.
Oh, it has a big thing that says recover 1 level.
What's this? Oh yeah.
Oh, nice.
Requires food and drink.
Ah, shit.
Reset.
It's cool. So many new
Oh,
things.
and it tells you everything that you're gonna recover.
So many new things.
Yeah, the rest of you, except for Calculator, are all awake.
Oh, should we
He's
leave
still
then?
in his trance for a bit.
Classic, am I right?
Always waiting for Cal here. Anybody like some tea?
We should get some food in our bellies too. And I pull out a few rations of boar bacon that I had.
Make something with this, with some of my spices. I got my little tea set out, all my tools that we use for camping, making food, make a little breakfast.
And
Boar
I
meat.
make sure to make an extra portion. And Yeah, so like I'll take it to the guard and say, "Would you like some food?"
He takes a bite of it. As you're doing this, you hear a noise from behind you towards the direction of the gate. And there's just a soft, like, female voice that just says, "Now arriving at Eastwall Gate."
Mind the gap.
There's like a loud,
Oh, the
like,
elevator.
sort of sound. For a moment, nothing else happens, and then a figure steps out from the entrance of the elevator, or like the entrance of the tunnel area that you, the gate that was closed before. Looks very similarly dressed, very similarly attired, but there's a female figure with like pale blue skin and like flowing gray hair. She walks up. She's about maybe like half a foot shorter than Riker. She walks up, looks around, looks surprised for a bit. You have guests, Riker? Yes. It's been a very complicated night, and I cannot wait to turn in, he says.
Sorry. I'm Diamond.
Nice to meet you. My name's Lorelei.
You are so much nicer than the other guy. Oh my god, why couldn't you have been here last night? Sorry, Riker, but
Not at night. Sometimes you just need a little bit of someone with a little bit more of an edge. Yeah? Huh? Yeah? Yeah? She like nods towards Riker. Just shakes his head. That's all. I'll be going home now. He walks off towards the entrance. Lorelei just kind of sits down. The book that Riker had been taking notes on is actually just there. It's just set at the table. He sits down and takes a look at it, flips it open, and begins to read. For quite a long time, actually. Just reading. Like, you see her flipping a page. You see her flipping another page. He wasn't wrong. It's been an eventful night. Jeez.
What happened? We just arrived.
Yeah, something about telling y'all to go visit the Gilded Oasis.
Just the ladies' club.
It's not. I mean, you're not wrong. There is a lady there. She performs, and it's quite lovely.
I was going to interrupt. It seems like Lady Garnett has requested my presence.
Lady Garnett is here?
Apparently so.
You, unless Calpir told you that.
Oh, I
you
thought I
wouldn't
was
know
mentioning.
that.
Sorry.
You, it was just somebody requested your.
Redcon.
Right.
Someone requested me.
One
So
of
later,
his,
someone requested
one
me.
of his
Yeah.
night ladies again.
Yeah. The Gilded Oasis. I don't know.
Very upscale people would only request you. It's quite expensive. I don't recommend spending the night there. I hear the food's not very good.
Do you have any apple teenies?
I have no idea. I honestly can say I've never been there.
Huh.
It's in the Crystal Canyon, though. Just a couple of blocks down from the
Crystal Canyon?
the Dolphin Fountain.
Dolphin.
A Crimson Canyon.
This place is so much fun.
Lorelei, I hear the academy has magic brooms, like flying brooms. Can
I mean,
you
they're
confirm?
mostly for training and for repair on the glass. Glass? She points
Oh.
somewhere around here.
Do you think they would sell me one?
The academy mostly keeps
Me
their
too.
gates pretty closed. Maybe if somebody can put in a good word. I'm gonna be honest with you. Most people in the city strive to make their way to the academy. It's really hard to get there and get in. It's kind of aspirational, really. I'm sure if you study hard enough, you might be able to.
Well, I don't want to get to the academy. I just want a broom. I
Maybe.
already know some magic.
Sure.
Maybe I can make you a broom.
A flying broom?
Well, where you're going to be entering from here, this is the Eastwall elevator. I recommend when you enter, you try to keep to yourself. Not many people enter from here, so you'll probably get mobbed a little bit by beggars, by pickpockets, by all sorts of people, kind of desperate and on. So I recommend keeping your guard up. You will be entering.
Excuse me, do you happen to have a map of the city?
It's kind of hard to map. It's a lot of tunnels. It's a lot of sprawl. Where does the
You can map tunnels.
where you'll end up once you go down this rabbit hole. It'll be the Praxis Market Hub. Lots of stalls there. At this time of morning, there will probably be a lot of people trying to sell you food, trying to sell you supplies. Delicious food, really. There's a really good noodle stand if you're looking for
Apples?
that might only be in the Crimson Canyon. So there's the sprawling, almost like Anto type situation here. In both the walls, lots of entrances, lots of exits, lots of strange paths. Really hard to navigate anything. Especially not helped by all the fucking magic. Now I myself try to stay away from all of that shit. I live pretty close to the gate, or to the elevator. Get in, get out, live a nice, peaceful life. Sometimes you might be going down a pathway and it might just end or take you somewhere where you didn't completely expect. Perfectly normal, just some fucking trainee student from the school just fucked up. Lots of people here quite desperate. Recommend staying safe.
Desperate because of what?
Well, let's just say the only thing to aspire for here is to gain an admission to the academy, and the academy doesn't accept everyone. So everybody kind of tries to get by as much as they can. You might tell, pretty hard to get in or out of the city. I don't really know how you guys made it here, but yeah. Riker's notes here say that you're quite well equipped, probably able to handle yourself. So probably nothing to worry about, but
Is it
Just be
often
mindful.
that people get into fights around here where we're needing to use this equipment?
I don't recommend it. The Mage Guard will catch you, and you will be punished and potentially thrown out of the city.
What if somebody jumps us? Are we allowed to defend ourselves?
They don't often do that, but if they do, sure, defend yourself. If you have enough money, fame, power, prestige, arcane skill, you can basically do whatever you want here.
I have all of those things.
You'll fit right in.
Perfect.
As she says this, you wake up out there making your trends.
I did that because I assumed I saw the thing again.
Yes, you did.
What thing,
I was
Calthier?
role playing. You guys heard it.
You've seen
The
that.
darkness
Oh.
consumes me.
Consume.
Very, very familiar at this point.
I pack up my stuff.
Actually,
just-
one thing does differ this time. As you are engulfed in darkness, you see in front of you in red lightning the rune that you saw in the sky
Come
the last
city.
night. It's just darkness.
Wait, I saw a rune yesterday?
That was one of the
There
runes,
were a
right?
few.
Yeah, there were a
There
few
were a few.
runes in the sky.
Oh.
There was darkness.
Come city, sister,
Darkness.
Darkness Trinity.
Yeah,
Yeah,
which one do I see?
Darkness.
Oh, okay.
In Elvish is the language that you recommend. That's the last thing in your, like, steering in your eyes as you wake up.
Alright. Okay. Yeah, I'll gather my stuff. I assume everybody's like over.
They're all, you can see them talking to this other new figure who's dressed very similarly to Riker. Still has the, like, eye patch, still is fairly unarmed, but is wearing, like, the same garb that you gather to be almost like a uniform of sorts.
Sorry, lady, what's with the eye patch?
Oh, we use it to just make sure that what we're seeing is, We're seeing everything that's out here.
Uh,
Can you see through our clothes?
I wish.
Whoa.
Couldn't help but notice that. Are you carrying no weapon?
Nah.
Does. I mean, guards guarding the gate. It's very unusual.
She closes her eyes for a moment, and the gate just closes. Like, the light above it just, like, flares up with a crystal, and the entire, like, gate just instantly slams shut. City's safe.
I got 2 guns right here.
Let's just say when you live in a city full of wizards, first off, you'd be foolish to try and march anything of danger through this tunnel. Even just to get inside, like, that elevator could probably just seal up and shunt you off into the middle of nowhere. There really isn't any need for us to try to keep any... very little danger here. What's the worst that's going to happen? You guys kill me and then don't get into the city?
I'm not talking about us killing you. I'm just
It was
saying-
hypothetical. Also, nobody comes here. There's a note in Riker's book that literally says, "What the fuck are they doing at this gate?"
I'm pretty sure he said that out loud to us. He wasn't very pleasant.
He's a good man. He's just tired.
It's the night watch, right?
For his kind, that's supposed to be day.
It's true. He is drowned.
His kind, that's rough.
I joined the group. Sorry, I was resting still. How do we get to the Gilded Oasis from here?
Well, you get in that thing. An elevator of sorts. Takes you down. Also a little sideways. Maybe even upside down at some point. Don't worry, perfectly safe. It will eventually end up in the practice market hub. From there, honestly, your luck is as good as mine. Just try to find your way out into the canyon. The caves within the walls are a little bit of a difficult problem to navigate usually. I recommend keep trying to go downwards because you're trying to get to the ground. You'll still be pretty high up above where the market hub is. Once you get to the ground level, you'll be out into the Crimson Canyon. Look for one of the larger fountains. It's in the shape of a dolphin. There's an ever-flowing stream of water that's just jetting out. As she does this, actually, there's like a small spray of water that just erupts from her
Wow.
hands.
You like to
It's
spit.
it's at the fountain?
Oh no, it's just around the corner from the mountain.
Right or left?
Depends on which way you're coming to the fountain from.
Place confuses me.
Is the elevator...
You can't miss it. There'll probably be loud music and signs everywhere.
Oh, wonderful.
Is the elevator here right now?
It's always here.
That was me as Derek asking
Oh.
the DM. I was understanding.
Yeah, it is. Riker is long gone.
Yeah.
But the elevator is here.
Like open and...
Yeah, the gateway is open.
Also couldn't help but notice that you're like a blue-skinned person. What are you?
Is she the same as... I don't think she's the same as Riker, right?
She lifts up her hand and this the water that she sprayed almost similarly a swirl of water just comes up from it.
Water
She
gymnastics.
begins to
Yeah.
move it around and almost forms this orb of water that's just swirling all around it. Pretty fancy trick. Gets me a
Very
lot of free
impressive.
drinks at parties.
That's quite interesting, but we should be going. And I'm gonna head towards the elevator.
Do you know the
Drops it
avatar?
off.
Does your kind have a name?
We're Genasi, I believe.
Most beautiful creature I've ever seen. But I will follow in behind Kelthier.
As you step inside, nothing happens. For a moment, as you all kind of step inside, Lorelei just looks back at you all and says, "Oh, I'll be sending you all off on your merry way." And she closes her eyes, focuses, and the gate closes behind you. And the elevator, you begin to feel your feet almost cling to the ground here. The ground itself is this stone disc with lots of intricate arcane runes all around it, as well as a small crystal that's located in the middle. The crystal begins to glow and pulse with this yellowish light and energy, and all of you immediately feel your feet almost stick to the ground as this as this floor that you're on begins to descend downwards. Definitely moves a little bit sideways, a little bit under. You begin to lose your composure for a bit. If you all had eaten a lot of food, you might even get a bit nauseous and want to throw up a little.
Nice.
That's all winding, unwinding. Eventually, where is descending almost opens up, and now this disc is floating in midair as it begins its descent towards the bottom. And you are barraged with just noises. Voices of people shouting, music playing all around, people screaming, hawkers in the street just yelling about their goods, about their food that they're selling, about roasted eggs and fresh wine that's just being immediately brewed, and things that just don't even make sense. How would those things even exist? They're shouting out about warm chocolate flowers. And freshly roasted eggs as a thing. Just things that are completely abnormal to your senses. You've never heard or seen of any such thing. And all around you, there's just incredibly bright lights. There's glowing lights and signs of Jasmine's noodle bar and what were some of the other places here? I've even lost their names at this point.
There's probably no Jasmine's noodle bar.
Yeah. There's a big flashing. It's almost imagine a neon lit city, but obviously without neon. It's mostly just magic lights that are just all around you. People shouting in the streets, people walking around. Almost, you actually notice a few people and a few advertisements just floating by, magically bouncing from place to place. You emerge in this giant cavern that is underground, and you can see the walls of it in the distance. But just the sheer amount of useless, trivial magic at play here is unlike anything that you've ever seen. It is honestly walking into a neon-lit city. And that's where we're going to end this session.
Definitely
Praxis Market.
I'm gonna brainwave with a prostitute here for
Brain
sure.
dance?
Brain dance with a prostitute here.
With enough magic, anything can seem like science fiction.
Let's go.
Kind of how it goes.
Oh, that's it.
New city. New city. We'll start the new year with a new city.
Just fucking name drop Sonya and
I know.
You'll never hear about that again because she'll
Yeah.
forget about it by
No,
then.
when we were on the elevator, I didn't want to interrupt you, but when we were on the elevator, could I have said to Tymond just quickly, I may have a lead on Anya?
I think that's the conversation we can roleplay.
And we'll leave it at that for now.
We can roleplay that conversation when we get back.
Okay.
Because I do think that there would probably be more than just a single message.
You're gonna be
You'll
like,
say,
from who?
okay.
Yeah, you're gonna be like, from who? She's like, a stick. You'd be like, oh god, not this again.
No, but then we would have been distracted by the elevator moving and everything.
Lots of distractions, lots of things happening.
Oh boy.
Plays upon plays
And
upon
they
plays
grew a
upon
foot.
plays of power.
Cool. Alright, well, until the new year.
Yes.
Wrap this up.
Say
All right.
Oh,
We
Well,
need to wrap
I don't
up.
remember the line anymore. See you next time in the alcove.
There we go.
Bye.
Bye.